How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going well. How are you?
I am great. I'm going camping this weekend.
Sweet.
It's going to be hot, but we'll survive.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 100 degrees today here in Minnesota. So
Oof. You guys get the extremes.
we do. It's like we get the coldest of cold and the warmest. I think we might hold records in the continental U.S. for the biggest range of temperatures throughout the year. So
Wow. Well, you get to practice your effective dressing.
yeah, exactly.
Lots of storage needed for clothing types.
Yeah, I never needed like half a closet for jackets until moving out here. So
I hear you.
yeah, where are you going camping?
We are going up in the White Mountains in New Hampshire.
Sounds beautiful.
So we're trying this new thing. We found this service called Hip Camp, which is like Airbnb for campsites. So it's private property that people rent out for camping. And so we're going to basically somebody's farm near a river. So we'll see how that goes.
Very cool. I'm taking a trip in a few weeks to the Boundary Waters in Minnesota. You get dropped off at a certain point, and then you take canoes and you go out on lakes. And so I think you spend most of the day on a lake, and then you have to portage from time to time, which is basically like pick up all your stuff and haul your canoe over land to another lake. And I'm going with a group of experienced people. I've never done anything that intense before, so I'm trusting my fellow campers are going to guide the way.
That's smart to do it with some people that know what's up first.
Yeah, totally.
There's so many little, like everything, there's just so many little tricks and ways of making your life a little bit better.
Yeah. Trying to learn from their experience last year on what they would have done differently. I bought like one of those life straw things so that you can just like dunk it in a lake and it'll filter the water and you can have fresh water anytime. So
yeah, my like newbie camping tip that you might not know is, you probably do now, but is a headlamp is worth its weight in gold.
Interesting.
Because people think, you can just bring a flashlight, and that's true, but then you've lost a hand. And two hands is so much better than one hand. And so being able to strap it on your head and then just have it go, like have the light go wherever you look is like a game changer.
Okay. I'll pick up one of those because I was just buying some gear yesterday and I bought a flashlight. I was like, I think I need one of these, but then I didn't consider the headlight. So maybe I'll do that too.
Yeah. Give it a shot. And they're not even expensive.
Yeah.
Highly recommended.
Cool.
So how's business?
Business is going. Last time we talked, I was hoping to get some mock-ups done, ready to present to people on my list and get some feedback. And those were lofty goals, I think, because once I started getting into it, I spent a lot of time this week working on mock-ups. And so I have a big giant sketch file going with a bunch of different just phases, basically, of user interaction to try to demonstrate what it's like to create messages in Level, for them to flow into your inbox, for you to reply to them, and how does the inbox state change over time as more messages flow in. I got some good work done on that, but I think what I realized was that it kind of generated more questions than answers as I was building them. I feel like I need more answers before I'm actually ready to start showing them to people. I started basically from scratch. Empty groups, empty inbox. Someone creates their first message. What happens? It shows up in the group, and then if you're subscribed to that group, it shows up somewhere in your inbox. And then if someone mentions you, then that shows up higher in your inbox in terms of priority, so that appears above the other one. And then say you get 5 more mentions and 10 more off-topic messages or messages that aren't particularly targeted at you, and then you get more messages in different groups. And just kind of knowing how Slack works, like if people enjoy using the tool, then they feel free to post messages without composing them like an email. Like it's more of a kind of a chattier protocol. And I suspect that's how Level will work. I'm faced with the question of like how to keep this inbox manageable. And I think one of the important things to demonstrate through this process of building mockups is to prove to people that I've thought of a way for the Level inbox not to devolve into sort of an email inbox where it's so messy and noisy that you just need to clear it out, en masse all the time.
Totally. Yeah, and it's an unsorted list.
So working on how to group messages together logically and how to roll up things so that, maybe you see like a block of messages that says like recent activity in the engineering group. And the most important messages are surfaced at the top. And then you can maybe expand to look further, and you can dismiss certain blocks all at one time. If I think like you'll probably just want to peruse over these messages and then, dismiss them all at once instead of like going through and, archive. I'm starting to get better answers, I think, about how things should be structured, but it's been just a more in-depth process than I was imagining. And just one of my takeaways is like solutions in your head are always way simpler than they actually are when you start putting them into pixels or into HTML. You picture like, oh yeah, this inbox, it's totally going to be great. Like it's going to be way better than email because I'm going to group things logically. And just in that thought process, I'm glossing over so many minute details that that you're forced to make concrete once you start actually building.
Totally. I saw a great tweet yesterday that said, execution is where ideas go to die.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the negative take on that, but yeah.
Right.
I think that the gist is kind of aligned.
Yeah. And I think this is where the real work happens. We can all just sort of sit back and ponder how bad Slack is and how much better it could be, but actually getting to the nitty-gritty and implementing that solution is where it's where the money's made. And if you can do it, good. If not, then it's going to fail. So
how do you feel about it?
My morale has been up and down this week. When I started building out these flows, I was like, okay, I'm going to knock these out maybe a day or two. I don't want to spend too much time on them. That's been my fear, is like wasting too much time in a medium that's not actual HTML and real code, because like I feel like getting into the final medium quickly is important for you not to waste too much time, because it's hard to know how something's actually going to feel until it's in its final medium. I've already been sort of skeptical of like, I want to spend the minimum amount of time possible in this stage of building mockups. And so it was a little bit frustrating at first when I was, starting to build some of these screens and realizing that this is not going to be as easy as I thought. And I may end up spending a couple of weeks on this, and that's going to be frustrating. I've been sort of balancing my time between, working on some stuff, pushing some pixels in Sketch, and then marinating on it. And while I'm doing that, I flip over and I'm writing code on things that I know will need to be in the product, regardless of what feedback these mockups yield. That's really important for me, is feeling like I'm still like making progress on the actual code base, because I start looking out at the year. Like I've gotten asked a few times, so when do you think your MVP will be ready? And I'm like, well, I hope by fall, but it can't be too late in the fall, or else it'll bump up into that Thanksgiving, Christmas time, which is dead zone for all SaaS. And then that pushes you into the next year. And I'm like, the thought of not launching anything until next year just sounds terrible. But I mean, there's not much time left if you think about it in terms of like the SaaS buying cycle. So
yeah, for sure. Wow. Now I'm worried too.
Sorry to be all doom and gloom.
No, it's okay. It's good. I hadn't thought about that, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
It's like that doldrums at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Okay.
A couple days ago, I was like, oh man, this is kind of a slog. And I talked about this before too, that I've, been spending a fair amount of time thinking about what interesting things to share on Twitter to keep people interested and continue growing that following. And I'm always in the back of my head, like, when should I record my next screencast? I haven't done one in a long time now. When should I write my next blog post? I'm dealing with a lot of things competing for my headspace right now. And a lot of these things are super important, but also distracting from making real concrete progress on the MVP. I need to figure out the most important things to be focusing on and just try to get really laser focused on the few most important things to be working on right now.
That prioritization is the number one thing.
Yeah.
It's not even really how fast you're going. It's, are you working on the things that are actually going to make the difference?
Yep. And if it means that I don't launch anything until next year, like that may be a reality that I have to accept, but still, like I need to make sure that I'm not, spending a bunch of time on things that yield very little, and make sure that equation is all in balance, I guess.
Yeah. I'm thinking back to that podcast that Rob cut together of you guys building Drip in the early days. And if I remember, it was about a year before there were people in there much, right?
Well, so yeah, we broke ground in December, and then by March or April, we were trying to get Ruben from BidSketch onboarded. But at that point, it was very simple. Like there wasn't a whole lot of functionality built in. And fortunately with Drip, we started with pretty small ambitions. We weren't trying to be marketing automation at that point. It was just like, carve out a little piece of MailChimp and be better at that. And we were even integrating with MailChimp. So it was like, hey, you could just use Drip for this part and then funnel them into MailChimp. So, I mean, that was much more achievable, I think, in a few months time span. But even that proved to not be enough for him. And we kind of kept building, and then we started onboarding people more in the summer. So it was at least 6 months before we started like early access, kind of alpha stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. So I mean, it's a slow process.
It is. Yeah.
And you were probably trying your best to get it done quickly and get to that point where people were actually in it.
Yeah. I started out like, I was a contractor for Rob, and he was paying me half time to work on Drip and half time to work on Hittail. As soon as we realized like there's a lot of potential here, I flipped over to full time on it. But I mean, I had the advantage of like, that was all I did during those 20 hours. And then as soon as I flipped to full time, I was basically just writing code on Drip all day long, 40 hours a week. So now that I'm in the solo founder mode, like if I do that, things will not go well. I need to keep the marketing juices flowing too.
Totally. Yeah. Got to wear all the hats.
Yeah. It's where I envy your position a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. I feel very lucky, honestly. Well, good update.
Yeah. So that's what I'm got going on. How about you?
A few things. So one is I finally crossed 10,000 followers on Twitter, which is exciting for me.
I noticed that when it goes from the concrete 4 digits to just 10K.
10K, yeah, exactly. I graduated the Ks. Although now it's like, oh man, now I need like 100 followers to even update that number. But that's all right. So I've been stealing the Adam Wathan, Steve Shoger, be useful on the internet, tweet tips thing. And I started that just about 3 weeks ago. And I went from being basically flat. I was at like 9,900 followers for probably many months, like maybe even 10 months or something. Just over the last 30 days, I've added like 130 followers. And like that number that happens per day is going up a lot. It works, tweet useful things and people want to follow you. Go figure. You're also up a lot too, I noticed.
It's been working well for me. Yeah, I think I'm up like several hundred a month. And it's each month I'm adding more than the previous month. And not necessarily like I'm kind of keeping a steady stream of these going. And I played around a little bit too with like, what if I posted 3 in one day? Does that provide the same amount of lift as one good one in a day? And I'm still trying to figure out exactly how Twitter's feed algorithms are working. But I think if there's one tweet that's seeming to get a lot of lift and then you post another one, that second one never gets nearly as much lift as the first one. So I'm wondering if they look at what you've posted recently and the one that's getting spread around the most, they kind of inject that one in people's feeds and let the other one not have as much spotlight.
Yeah, that sounds likely.
Yeah. So trying to figure that out a little bit, like what's the right cadence. And I want to basically push it as providing as much as possible without reaching that point of diminishing returns,
Yeah, that's something I'm trying to figure out is the ratio where it's like I want to tweet tips that are useful and that's cool, but I also like want there to be some personality.
Yeah, you don't want to turn it into like just a machine of generated tips. Yeah.
Yeah, providing value and being useful is great, but also like there's opportunity to kind of build something of a relationship and have people know what's going on in your life and whatnot. And I think that's kind of nice too. So trying to figure out what that looks like. I'm happy that the general approach is working. The number it's funny because like it's a social media number and it's clearly a vanity metric and all that, but also it's sort of the broadest point of the funnel of people kind of coming into my world. Like I said, it's on my KPI dashboard and I was thinking about pulling it off, but there are a number of useful things about it where it's like it is people coming into my world and slowly funneling into other things probably. It's kind of a nice social indicator where like someone hits the tuple landing page, let's say, and clicks through on my name. They're like, oh, okay, this guy is probably legit, like for some definition of legit. It's not worth to me like optimizing a ton, but I think putting a little effort into it, which honestly, the tweet tips are not a ton of work. And so I'm gonna keep doing that.
Yeah, I usually spend like a few minutes in the morning thinking about like what would be something interesting. And sometimes I come up with 3 or 4 things and I just drop them in a text doc and then try to restrain myself from posting them all at once. I think there's also something to be said for followers that are gained through this avenue. Like I'm amazed by how much engagement Adam gets from his audience on when he tweets stuff and when he talks about his courses and stuff. And I think a large part of that is that these followers were gained because they were interested in the knowledge that he was sharing and not because, he did the follow back game where he just followed a bunch of people and people followed him back or just, there's a lot of different ways to obtain followers that are not genuine or not people that aren't really interested in what you're talking about. So I think there's something to be said for these because it's not just a number. These are people who they clicked follow because they like the stuff you're talking about. They're getting value from it. And I feel like they're more likely to engage when you do subtle promotion or less subtle promotion of your product,
Yep, totally. Yeah, so that's going pretty well. Can keep doing that. Launched the Code Quality Challenge signups this week. 100% of the people on this podcast signed up for it. I guess 50%. I'm technically, I don't know. I saw you in there. You're contractually obligated to participate.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Glad you like that.
I launched it on Monday. It's Friday now. We're at 780 signups for the next cohort, which is pretty nice. It's pretty legit. It's good to be growing those lists and bringing people into the world, and have some cool stuff planned for this one, which I'm excited about. A lot of it is like the existing content, but I'm writing new content. We're updating some old stuff. I have someone volunteered to help out. I won't mention him by name yet, but he was like, "Hey, can I help with the next cohort?" He said this a few months ago, and so I reached out to him. So yeah, things are going well. I have an unfortunate vacation timing where the second week of the challenge I'm on a cruise, and so okay. I looked at the internet packages from the ship. And 250 minutes of internet access is $105.
Oh my gosh.
So I just spent maybe the most I've ever spent for internet access to buy that. And that's if you buy it ahead of time. It's more on the ship.
It's like satellite internet or something?
Totally. It's going to be like garbage internet for sure.
Yeah.
But I just want to make sure I can get hop in the forum, check in, interact with people. I think I'm going to have somebody else sending out the actual things for those days, but I want to be available. So that's happening. I also launched a private podcast this week. I used Briefs, which is that podcasting service I built a couple of years ago with Chris, which is perfect for this because it's like a really low ceremony way to publish really short podcast episodes. In fact, they can't even be over 3 minutes. So I did that and sent it out to our alpha people. I got an email from one of the people that had purchased for the alpha, and he was like, "Hey, do you have an idea when this thing will happen?" And I was like, "I hate that he has to ask this. The information needs to flow the other way." And so I spun this up. And yeah.
Is this sort of in lieu of sending out email updates to the list? Is it
exactly? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. We'll see if it works for people. If some people really want email, I'd probably do it. But I like that it's so much faster.
Yeah,
I can kind of just dictate one real fast, and then it's out in the world.
Interesting.
So we'll see.
I like that idea. I've been trying to think of what are some other perks of being on the list that I can offer people, and people do like to you could potentially promote that as a thing of, now if it's only for your alpha people then maybe not, but that could be an advantage of being on the insider circle, is you're going to hear from me periodically.
Yeah, totally. I think I'm going to open it up to everyone eventually, definitely when the alpha ends, but maybe even before then. We'll see. I like that it's an exclusive thing right now, but probably will end up opening it up later. It was when we were building Briefs, we had a Briefs update podcast, and it was really handy and useful to just be able to sit down at the end of the day and be like, what did we get done today? And we would just very quickly chat through it, and then it was everyone got an update, and it was cool. Plus, I think podcast builds a relationship. Your voice, I think people get to come to recognize it and just have a little bit more affinity towards you. So I think it's a nice medium.
Nice.
Yeah.
And it's a little bit more opt-in, people can get funny about frequent email updates where they feel you're, if they have other issues going on with their inbox and they see one from you, they can start to get this negative association of Ben's always spamming me. But this is more of they can opt into the feed and they can listen if they want, or they don't have to. And it's less, it's not yet another email.
I have a nice feeling when I open my podcast player. I'm like, ooh, I'm going to listen to something fun. And so it's nice to be in that context as opposed to the probably your work context.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just nice.
That's very interesting. I might have to steal that one.
And Briefs is a good option for it. It's a cool tool.
I remember looking at it back in the day when you first talked about it, but I haven't. Yeah.
The way most people do it is you can just record in voice memos on your phone and then be share, and you get a special email address that posts it, and then the subject line becomes the episode title and the body becomes the show notes. And we do audio processing on the file, so it sounds good even from the phone mic. And it's just it just works well, and it's kind of nice. I'm happy with it. I haven't touched the product in a long time, but signing up again as a customer, I was like, oh yeah, this is pretty slick.
So this is just a service you keep running. Is it on Heroku or something, or is it?
It is. I mean, we have customers. It's profitable, so
nice.
Slightly. We don't do much with it, so it hasn't been growing. But there are people that are using it still, so that's cool. And we just got a new customer, and it's me.
You paying yourself?
Technically, yes. It goes into our Codecation account, which is what pays for the Codecations to generate the new products. One other thing, this is kind of a bigger topic. You and I have touched on this before. So one thing that's been happening, which is extremely flattering and cool, is that people I've had a couple people, actually I think it's 3 or 4 people have reached out and said, hey, if you're interested in some seed funding, like let me know. Our answer from the beginning has been like, no, we're good. Like we all have some savings and we can bootstrap this and all that. And it's nice to retain all the control and everything, but it just keeps happening. And every time we have like kind of like a short conversation where it's like, there are different ways of raising money these days. And it's not all like, moonshotty VC stuff. It's a thing that's on my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every legitimate outreach you get seems like another nudge towards like people are really interested in throwing money at me for this. It's kind of hard to ignore it, right?
Right. It's like, here's an email that says, do you want money? And like, yes, you're trading money for a different thing, but it's also like, well, money would be useful. We're working on a multi-week spike of a native app. It's like, wow, C++ is hard. We might want to like get some C++ consulting from an expert. Granted, we have some pre-sales revenue, which is awesome. So like, we don't need it now, but it's like, yeah, I mean, money is an accelerant. It has some useful stuff. Or has some useful properties. So
I guess like what you need to probably think through is balancing like how much are you three willing to invest? And I don't know if you've like actually transferred cash into a business account yet and said like, this is our capitalization and we have this bucket of money to spend, and really like figuring out what's the most I'm willing to put in of personal capital, and then how much do we need? How lean can we afford to go before we get enough traction to potentially get a better valuation than you could get right now? I feel like that's sort of the balance. Like, it's not necessarily the best call to wait a while until after launch and after customers and all that to raise funding if you feel like you're going to need, like, that capital is really going to come in handy to pay for consulting or whatever to accelerate building the product. I think it's not a clear decision one way or another.
Totally, yeah. I'm still leaning heavily into no. The idea of having outside investors feels like, to me, like it ramps up the stress, because like you want to raise from helpful, connected, influential people, ideally, right? So it's like, okay, now we're not indebted, but like there are all these influential people that are expecting us to do well and to, so it's, to me, it just ramps up the intensity. And like, I like that we are in control of the destiny fully. So that's like, yeah, if this doesn't work, it's just us, it's like, it would be a bummer. I don't want it to fail. I'm going to try to make sure it doesn't fail. But it's like, I like where the stakes are right now. It feels like doubling down pretty hard to take investment.
Yeah. That was actually an interesting topic that Rob talked about in his MicroConf talk, which I don't know if that'll go public in a while or not, but the video of it. But he talked to a few founders, I think, because one of the central themes of his talk was being at Drip, and Drip is now like a funded company because it's part of Lead Pages. And what's it like being in an environment where you've received funding? And I think he talked to a few founders who've done like Jordan from CartHook and some of the others who've done more of like the not traditional VC, but indie VC type of angel funding. And some people are like, yep, it's all great. Like, now I have these advisors and it's, I'm enjoying it. And others are like, it's terrible. I now feel all this pressure on myself because I have other people's money. And so I think it depends on your personality as a founder too. And I suspect that I would be pretty firmly in the camp of like, this is someone else's money. I need to protect it with all I've got. And I can't, be frivolous. And now it's really serious and not just my own money I'm risking. But I think it just varies from person to person, about how it affects your psychology.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, we'll see. I think that's a thing to like kind of continually evaluate, because the circumstances will just keep changing. There may be a point where suddenly it's like, ooh, 200 grand right now would make a huge difference for reasons X, Y, Z. Right now, it doesn't feel like it. Like, we're not cash strapped at all, where it's like mostly what we need is our own time, which we are able to pay for currently. Hopefully that will last.
It's good to keep on the table, though, I think.
Totally. I just love the idea of being able to keep it really flexible and like decide like, yeah, we're going to optimize for this thing and it's not massive profitability. Yeah,
you can choose to push hard and make it very profitable or not, but that's just retaining that control, I think, is obviously an ideal state if you can hold on to it.
Yeah. So I'm reluctant to give that up. That's my overriding thing right now, so I don't want to forget that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So that's it for me, I think.
Cool. I think that's it for me as well.
Cool. Well, you know what? It's always good talking to you.
You too, man. Yeah.
This is fun. It's nice that we get to do our therapy in front of everybody.
That's basically what it is now.
We get to do our therapy and turn it into like something useful.
Yeah. Hopefully others can get
hopefully useful,
therapeutic benefits.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right. If people wanted our therapy session notes, where would they go to?
Our therapy notes can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Headlamps, man.
Yeah. I need to get on that headlamp
Not
game.
get a headlamp. And bring both. Bring your flashlight and your headlamp, and use the flashlight for an hour, and then put your headlamp on and thank me later.
Yeah. I figured like maybe flashlight might be cool if you're needing to like rummage through something and you need to like kind of twist it around a little bit. But I don't know. The headlamp seems. I'm sold. I'm sold on that. I was like,
Good.
Is this going to be just like a really geeky way to produce light? But no, I think it's probably utility.
Two recommendations. Are you post-looting, by the way?
Yeah, I'm post-looting. Are you?
Cool, me too. Two recommendations. One, get one that has a red light mode.
Okay.
Because, basically, like my thing has a option where it's like these like dim red LEDs. Because like once your night vision adjusts, the default headlight state is like really bright, and so you don't really need or want that. It's nice to like have like a really low light mode. Like you wake up in the middle of the night and you like turn your thing on and it doesn't blind you. And then the other thing is don't look at people in the face.
Okay, because you will blind them.
You will blind them. Yeah. Okay. So when you're in headlamp mode, you have to kind of like look at their feet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Good
It's proper headlamp etiquette.
One other post-loot note. Have you ever rode before?
Yeah, I did actually.
Did you enjoy it?
I did. Mixed feelings.
Yeah.
Overall, I thought it's pretty cool though.
Nice. I've got a friend who's super into it. Has just did like an initial class on it and started doing it, and he's been working on me, convincing me to give it a try. And I just went with him to the clubhouse and sat on an erg and did like 45 minutes on there, and he trained me sort of on the basic form, and then we did a 2,000 meter simulation basically, and like he pushed me pretty hard, and man, that's a good workout.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's brutal. Also, 2,000 meters for like your first row is a ton. That was a slave driver.
Like, this is the best workout. Well, he was like, okay, I'm going to show you some technique, and then I don't want you to come out of here feeling like, you didn't really get any real work done. So we can do one of these.
That's cool. Yeah, no, I did a season. There's a rowing club around here, and I did like a 7 or 8 week season with a team. And it's a cool experience. Like being out in the water, erging sucks, but being on the water, that's cool. Yeah. Like I would go in the evening. It's like I think we started practice at like 7, and it's like the sun was going down, and you're out on the river, and it's beautiful, and like I'm seeing the city from a different vantage point. And when the team gets in kind of like a nice groove, it feels great.
Yeah.
And also, it doesn't hurt that as tall people, we're just naturally better at it.
Right. That's what he was demonstrating to me. Like we were side by side. I was matching his cadence, and then we were watching our power curves, and he was like, "See how much more output you're doing just because of those extra 5 or 10 inches that you have on your stroke." So. I was like, I mean, natural advantages.
Totally. I'm a sucker for like sports where I have a natural unfair advantage.
Yeah.
And rowing is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
So that's fun too. You'll be in demand for basically any team that is looking for people.
Right. Yeah. I'm sort of like the coach that he's been working with is like I've just talked to him on the phone once, and I'm going to go out on Saturday and actually, be coached by him. But he's very like eager to get more people involved. I think the club here is like 75% women. So he has trouble like recruiting males in the ideal age range. Like there's a lot of older folks and then there's some like high school, college age people out there too. So like people in like the, early 30s, late 20s age range who are in my height range. I think he's going to he sounds very excited. So
I believe it. Yeah. As they say, you can't coach height.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. Get the raw materials.
Yeah. So, and I think this could be, in my research, it's like rowing is said to be like one of the most physically demanding sports just because it's such a full body experience. So
it is. Yeah. It will definitely wreck you pretty well.
Yeah.
And there's this like insane kind of masochism in rowing where it's just like, it's all about the suffering in a way.
Yeah.
Because it's mostly like, which team can suffer the most for the longest? You win the race. Like, technique definitely matters a ton, but like, you also have to suffer.
Yeah.
There's a great quote from Greg LeMond, the cyclist. And he says, it never gets easier. You just get there faster.
Yeah.
And
I think my friend has mentioned that quote too, because he's like, it's even the people who are really experienced and advanced, they're still like, when they get off the boat, they're like nearly breathless because, they could pull back and match the speed of a less experienced boat and not be as spent, but then, but you never do that. You always push yourself as fast as you can.
Of course. So. It's yet another treadmill you can jump on.
Yep.
Yep. Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing some rowing updates.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Nice. Yeah. And hearing about your destroyed hands. Were your hands all right after the erg? The erg doesn't.
Yeah, I had my wedding ring on for part of the time, which was a big mistake. So I have like a blister forming on that finger. Otherwise, my hands are okay right now. But
the erg is a bit different because you don't rotate the blade.
Yeah.
But once you're out in the water, you'll be rotating the thing, and so it gets nastier.
Yeah.
But cool. I'm looking forward to hear what you think.
Yeah, we'll see how I hold up.
Alrighty, I got to run and pack some camping gear, including a headlamp.
Man. Oh, cool. All right.
Good chatting.
You too, man.
Bye-bye.
Bye.